Guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Abbas and I help coaches and consultants scale and add an extra 20, 30K per month to their business using AI and using systems. And I want to show you in this video how we are consistently generating 1.5 to 4K coaching clients in the DMs for one of our clients where she doesn't even have to lift a finger. So my team is managing the whole process for her and she's just sort of sitting there waiting for the money to roll in. And sort of, if you want to take a look at some of these screenshots, there's a 4K sale here. She does have some extended payment plans, so this is £500 extended over. I think it's 8 months, if I'm not mistaken. But that was another 4K sale there. This one, 500 times 8. That's a 8K sale. Then we've got some 1.2Ks paid in full. £300. That's a paid payment plan for 1.5K. Another 4K sale here. So as you can see, we are sort of consistently generating 1.5 to 4K sales for her. And I want to break down the process on exactly how we are able to do that. Now, just a disclaimer, she does have a very large audience. So she's got, I think it's close to 100,000 followers. I think it's 98 at the moment. So that definitely helps a lot. Now, with that being said, just because you may not have 100,000 followers, maybe you only have 2K or 3K or even 1,000 followers, that doesn't mean this video is not going to be useful for you, because you can take exactly what we've implemented here, but instead of trying to close in the DMs, just make the last part booking them onto a call and then closing them, because a lot of it isn't actually just sort of how you sell in the DMs. There's a lot of work that's done up front, which you need to do if you're going to sell in the DMs or if you're going to sell normally on a sales call. So let's get straight into it. Now, first things first, step one is to get hyper specific with your messaging. So this client is a book coach. And before, what she used to do was she used to be very general with her messaging, in the sense that she would speak to anybody who wants to write a book. So that could be someone who's unemployed, someone who's just a stay-at-home mom, not making a lot of income, or it could be someone who's an entrepreneur, etc. Right? The scope was very, very large, which meant she wasn't controlling who she was targeting and who she was sort of attracting. Okay. So she would say things like, if you've always been passionate about writing, if writing has been a dream of yours, etc., etc. And think about if you're doing this in your content right now, if you're being very vague, like if you are a fitness coach and you're saying, oh, if you're looking to lose an extra 20 to 30 pounds or 5 to 10 kg, whatever it is, just I want you to go along with this and see if you can notice anything that you're doing right now, whether it's good or bad. But so we changed up her messaging and we got very, very specific on who she wanted to attract and who her ideal client was. So we started to only speak to people who are in a certain financial position with a certain motivation in certain circumstances. So, for example, if you are a professional woman, an expert in your field, and you've had success already, but you want to get to the next level in your career by publishing a book, then XYZ, then this is for you, and sort of goes on. But that was sort of like the gist of what we're putting inside of our messaging now. Now, just compare the difference between this and just if you've always been passionate about writing, because now we're specifically only talking to a certain type of person who is going to be able to afford the program and who's going to come into the program and get incredible results. So your content should be made to only resonate with that one specific type of person. And just think back, like I said, think back to the current messaging that you have. Is it very vague, or are you speaking to people with certain in a certain financial position, with certain circumstances, etc.? And if you're not, well, this is the way to actually do it. So number one, you want to speak to your target audience's motivation. Now, I'm assuming for most coaches, you obviously want people with money, otherwise they're not going to be able to pay you. Now, it goes a little bit deeper, because you can't just say, oh yeah, if you've got £10,000 in the bank or something like that. That just comes across as very sleazy, very awkward, just very unorganic, and it's never going to work. So you have to do it in a bit more of a subtle way. Now, one of the ways to do this is to speak to your target audience's motivation. So as an example, right? Somebody who wants to make £10,000 per month online, they probably want financial freedom, they want time freedom, they want to be able to travel and work from their laptop, and that's their motivation. Whereas somebody wanting to make £100,000 per month online, they may want legacy, they want a bigger impact, they want to sort of increase their net worth drastically, and it's a very different motivation than the first person who just wants to hit 10K per month, live in Bali, and just travel the world, right? So, can you see how just by mentioning those two different motivations, suddenly you're speaking to two very different target audiences, even though the goal is the same? The goal is still to make more money, the goal is still to grow a business, but because of the motivation, suddenly you've got two very different types of people. So that's the first thing. Now, the second thing is to speak to your target audience's feelings. And this is just to make sure that you're really resonating with your target audience. And the effect that you want to have is, oh my God, this person is reading my head, right? They're inside my head, they're reading my mind. So when you address a pain point, you don't want to just mention the pain point. You also want to mention that the feeling that comes associated with that pain point. So, for example, you're struggling to sign clients. Okay, that is the pain point. But the feeling that comes with that pain point is feeling frustrated, maybe a little embarrassed that you keep trying and seeing nothing when everyone else around you is succeeding. So, can you see how much deeper that goes? Instead of just saying, oh, well, maybe you're struggling to sign clients, or if you're struggling to sign clients, right? The resonance is very different because on the one hand, you're just going surface level, but when you speak to the feeling that is associated with the pain point, you go a lot deeper. And you want to do it on the flip side as well, on their desires as well. So you want to mention the desire and then sort of the feeling and the circumstance and the situation that's going to put them in if they were able to achieve that desire. Now, what this does, number one, is with the motivation, you sort of really limit the amount of people coming towards you in the sense that you're repelling bad fits and you're attracting people in that position who are able to invest in your coaching. And secondly, you're just resonating with your audience on a much deeper level than just going on a surface level basis. So that's the first thing that we focused on, was getting hyper specific with the messaging. And that's the first thing you should focus on. Now, the second thing is pre-selling inside of your content. Now, to pre-sell, you need to sell your audience on three things. And these are the three things that we focus on, right? Number one, that you can deliver the results that they need. So you need to sell them on the fact that you are able to deliver that promised outcome. Your mechanism, your way of getting results. So if you are a fitness coach and you focus more on HIIT workouts, then you need to sell them on why HIIT workouts are the best way to go. If you focus on cardio only, then you need to sell them on why cardio only is the way to go. Sort of, you get the point. And then thirdly, on you as a person. So they need to know, like, and trust you. They need to resonate with your story. They need to be able to connect with you. So the way to do this for the first one, that you can deliver the results that they need, this is pretty much self-explanatory, but it's just social proof. So student interviews, client wins, transformation stories, reels where you're explaining a certain client story. You just want to be showing as much proof as possible. I think one thing that a lot of people don't do, which I would really recommend, is student/client interviews. And I am guilty of that as well. I need to start doing that, and I've arranged a few already. But recording student interviews, it's a big game changer than just having a screenshot saying, yeah, I made an extra $10,000 a day. And I am guilty of that, not going to lie. But that is something that I'm sort of working to arrange, and I've already arranged a couple. But yeah, if you are guilty of that as well, then student client interviews are a very big game changer that we've seen for some of our own clients. Secondly, your mechanism or your way of getting results. This is just logically explaining how your mechanism works, as well as why it works, and sort of at the same time explaining why the traditional methods that maybe they've tried in the past don't work. And you want to explain to them why that doesn't work. So I'll give you an example, right? Let's say you are a dating coach, okay? And your way of helping your students is through dating apps, okay? And so you want to logically explain, okay, the reason why dating apps are so good is because you've got a lot of leverage. You post once and thousands of people are seeing your profile. Whereas where if you just focus on cold approach, you can only go and speak to one or two or three girls a day. You can't sort of get attention from a lot of girls at the same time. Just as an example, right? So now you're logically explaining to them why dating apps are the best way to find a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a husband, whatever it may be. So explain to them logically why it works, how it works, and why the traditional method, so for example, in that scenario, cold approach would be the traditional method, explain why that doesn't work as well. And then finally, on you as a person, you just want to bring out your personality, share your story, make sure they resonate with you, share some aspects of your personal life. Once again, that's something that I need to work on as well personally. So this is for me as well. But yeah, just we got her to start really sharing a little bit more about what she was doing day to day, sort of the projects that she was working on behind the scenes, etc. And that just builds a little bit more connection and trust with that person. So that's step two, pre-selling them in your content. Now, the main way you're going to do this is through short form content and long form content. If you're not doing long form content already, then you should definitely be on that, because it's a lot easier to do it through a YouTube video than a 45-second reel. The reason being is they're going to be spending 10 minutes with you on a YouTube video, 45 seconds on a reel. If they're spending 10 minutes with you, then they're just going to get to know you, like you, and trust you in a more efficient manner because you're sharing more value and they're spending more time with you. Now, step three, the final step, is bringing people into the DMs and closing them. So what we usually do is we set up hand raiser posts or hand raiser stories to get attention into the DM. So this could look like something: I'm looking for 10 committed future authors to coach and help them get to the next level in their career by publishing a book, right? Something very simple. Call out your target audience, mention sort of their motivation, mention their situation, and tell them to DM you the word book, for example, okay? Understand their situations, goals, nurture, and qualify. So this is done by our appointment setting team, where once a lead comes in, they will start a conversation with them. They will build some rapport. They will understand that person's exact situation, where they want to get to, what's holding them back, sort of going deeper and understanding their motivation, their experience, what have they tried in the past, and sort of this is what we call gaining leverage, where the more information we have, the more we are sort of able to structure our responses to resonate with that person and increase our chances of getting a close, or in some cases getting a booked call. So you want to make sure that you're asking qualifying questions. You want to send content according to their obstacles, and then you want to go for the pitch. Okay, so when I say send content according to their obstacles, let's say for example in this client's case, one of them client's biggest obstacles is they can't figure out, let's say, the middle of their story, or they can't figure out how to market their book. They don't know how to market, or they're confused on the publishing, and sort of they're very nervous and stressed out about that. Now, if that is the case, then our appointment setter will go to the client catalog. They will find the resource linked to that obstacle. They will copy it, they will paste it, and send it to that person, and then continue the conversation. And what does that do? Increases the know like trust factor, builds rapport, and you're just sort of sharing value. So once you've come to the pitch, what we do is we send them to a doc. You can also use a landing page, but we just use a doc for simplicity that explains the program and the pricing in a very simple manner. You want to focus on benefit driven copy. So that is sort of, you mention a feature, but then you want to mention the benefit of the feature, show testimonials, and explain the pricing. I will say if you are closing in the DMs, it's probably a good idea to have a few more extended payment plans. It does make the process a lot easier, because obviously it's a little bit different when you're on a call. It's a lot easier to close someone on a call versus in the DMs. So if you are going down the route where you're trying to close in the DMs, then extended payment plans could really help you out there, and it has helped us out as well. But yeah, benefit driven copy, testimonials, and pricing, and then you just want to handle objections. So use a question based framework to identify the real objections and overcome them. So for example, if they're saying, okay, I need to think about it, you don't want to just sort of like, oh yeah, no, that's great, but you should really join because XYZ, this and that. You sort of want to take a moment and understand what the real objection is. Like, is it the pricing? Is it they don't like the product? Is it they don't like you? And you sort of, if you have a question-based framework script, which I'm going to be making a future video on now, but I'm not going to cover it too much because then this video will get too long. I will make a future video on it. But a question-based framework, what that allows you to do is identify the real objection and sort of loop them back to what they were saying previously, so that they are almost, in a way, they are almost handling the objection themselves, and you're not coming across as super salesy or sleazy. You're just sort of taking what they said previously and looping it back to the objection. So I'm going to make a future video on that, but these are the 3 steps that we use to close 1.5 to 4K deals for our coaching for this coaching client in her DMs without her having to lift a finger. So if you did find this video valuable, then make sure you like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.